Never really saw you coming until you turned me around. Used to think I wasn't fit, but look at this love we found. So give me your hand, welcome to the club. No, I don't ever wanna see you cry. Oh yeah, no more tears. Oh yeah, no more tears. Take that chance, we'll be fine. No, I don't ever wanna see you cry. Oh yeah, no more tears. Oh yeah. Never really saw you coming until you turned me around. Used to think I wasn't fit, but look at this love we found. So give me your hand, to the ground. No, I don't ever wanna see you cry. Oh yeah, no more tears. Oh yeah, no more tears. Take that chance, we'll be fine. No, I don't ever wanna see you cry. Oh yeah, no more tears. Oh
Okay, we are live. Hello, hello, hello. What's good, everyone? Welcome back to Fool's World. Hope you're all doing great. And guys, we are back with Black Myth Wukong, and today's our day 7. Dude, it gets confusing after a while, right? Oh yes, last stream we pushed deeper into chapter 4, survived a lot of bug-infested nightmares, and then I finally reached here. I mean, we made a lot of progress. This place is really confusing. It's like one path, but I mean, it's like one map, but it goes deeper, it goes up. Dude, too confusing. But you know us, we are a veteran and we know how to deal with this. Also guys, I did some upgrades. I got to level 109. I did some farming, XP farming. And I upgraded this skill. Also upgraded this to max. Next I think I put some, no. Oh, I took out points from my staff stance. And what was that? What was the other thing I did? Oh yeah, I maxed out my mana. Because you know, we have a mana build. So that's good. So without any further ado, if you guys want to join in on this adventure, make sure to like, comment to give us some tips or to have some tips. And if you're new, make sure to subscribe and turn on notification. Let us continue with this story, but before that, wait a second. Somebody's calling in the start of the stream. That's nice. That's always a good sign that the stream will go nice. Right? Right? Okay, got it there sorted out. I mean, it was a scam call. Okay guys, we upgraded the mana. I think I will put some point on this. I don't know. I'll see. But other than that, I think we'll mostly put up most of our point on these two. Also, if you want to use the transformation, the other one, lightning flash, I think we can take out points from here and put them here. But now that we have a XP farming location, I am not too worried. Okay guys, let us go. Dude, I updated my graphics drivers, and now I can see my FPS. I hate whenever Nvidia comes up with the update. It messes up with my settings. Oh, this place is dark. That's a red glowy eye. Also guys, there might be some power cut issues, so we might be alive, but we might not be. Oh wait, you're a boss?
It was one merry night,
Chubaji?
and now she wants to take my life. You're following me like a shadow. Can't you do anything without...
Did you get bigger? Wait, one of his eyes were normal. I think he's trying to fight it.
Nitwit! Spare me this burden.
One second. Oh wait, he's a boss fight. What? Okay, let's do this.
Damn it! Did you see all of it?
Jubaji, I don't want to kill you! Oh, you can kill me. Oh, you have some moves, huh? Do you transform? Oh, you're tornado. Oh, did we damage him? Oh, when he spun, he damaged himself. Boing. Let's not mess. He might have another face or something. Boing. 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 What was that about? Not holding back? Oh, he's becoming a tornado again. Ooh. And now he's vomiting. What are you, drunk? Oh, you can be big, so why do you roam around being small? Boing. I mean, it's not that strong. Hello, Chubaji. I hope I helped you. I know it hurts, I just kicked the shit out of you.
Keep off. Leave me alone.
Oh, he's trying to fight it. He's trying to fight it. Hello? Oh no, now he's running. What? Guys, if you enjoyed that boss fight, make sure to drop a like on the stream and drink plenty of water. We are live with Black Myth Wukong. Why does everybody likes to run away? I mean, I kicked your ass, so be nice. And give me some reward. And die. Why is it so hard to kill everyone? Oh, so there is no loot. What? So where is he? Can we break this? We can't. And why is this called Heart of Immortality? Hello? Hey, let me go. I don't say anything to get here. Dude, this place is so fucked up. Chubaji? Is there any... Oh, there is another way, or did we came from here? Oh no, we came from there. This is another way. Probably. How did we miss that? Boing. Oh, I'm guessing this. Of course, you guys search it. Oh no. I dodged. I ate the wrong pill, but okay. Wait, are we going? I guess we are going in the right way. Oh no, wait, this is the same. What the heck is it? You little brittle insect. What the heck? What the heck? We are going back here-ish. Although I think we should go here, right? Huh. I don't care about you guys. My friend is running away. Oh wait, this is the same shrine. What the heck are we going? I think we missed something there. Shouldn't that just open up another way? Okay, I guess this is supposed to be just a fight here. Huh. There's no other way. Maybe it's here. Oh, okay, revenge time. So much for revenge. Try to stop this. Oh, but we are going the same way. Oh, maybe we need to go... No, wait. That was where the frog was, right? Dude, what the heck? We came through here. We came here. Okay, then we beat the shit out of them. Things are getting confusing again. I'm not sure. I mean, didn't we come from there? Or was that another one? Okay. Who knows? I might fight something or... Oh, the beetle guy's back. I mean, if you are going to find a shrine, why not use the things? Boing. Dude, isn't this just the same path? I mean, Jubaji did came here, so... I mean, yeah, this is the shrine. Maybe I just need to go front. Or this might be the underground? I'm not sure, I'm confused now. Oh yeah, we definitely came through here, see? We are just going back. What's wrong with you guys? Oh no, that's the back path. I mean, there's only one way to go here, so... Dude, it's so not... Oh wait, we are outside? Somewhere? What the heck are we now? Oh wait, this is what? This is where we started. Dude, I'm confused. I hate this place. This is just as confusing as pagoda. I mean, the literal prison pagoda. Let me drink some water, guys. Okay, we defeated Jubaji. Then he got out. What? Oh, we came down through here, right? Or was this the path he opened? Oh, I see. This is the path he opened. Ah, that makes sense. I thought it was the other path. Oh, we are out. We are finally outside. God damn it. Dude, sunlight. I haven't missed sunlight so much. Ever. God damn it. Dude, that place was so dark, so night. So much of everything. Oh, Jubaji.
Filthy monkey! Aren't you dead already?
Why would I be
You're
dead?
the one who ruined it all!
Dude, Jubaji, chill out. You're our friend, aren't you? I mean, you are hypnotized, but...
I am staying here. You won't make me leave again!
Oh yeah, in the journey to the west, Wukong made him leave. Oh, we are slowed. What? Oh, fuck.
Think this is beneath you?
Oh, I don't like big house. What the? Chill out, bro. Get him! Get him, monkeys! Kill him until he's dead! Oh, what? Okay. What? How did... What? One shot? What's going on? What's going on? Oh, you are rolling in shit. You're literally rolling in shit. Holy fuck! That's a pig. Even Wukong is confused. And now we are covered in shit. Dude, how many phases does he have? We already fought him 2 times. Oh, okay, that's why. Oh, shish. Dude, even after all this, we are out of mana. We did so much. What is that? Dude. Time for another bind. Pigs have fat skin, right? Oh, you have become a fish. What? Oh, you are a confusing little fish. Oh, now you're a rhino? What? Don't. Oh, better not do that. I think the lock-on is screwing me. Now your fish. To scrub with the transformations. Or should have saved that. Oh, I dodged that, but okay, why not? I think we can get him. Boom! End it with the explosion. Please tell me there is no other face. We are out of stuff. Unless you are giving our stuff back. Please tell me you're giving our stuff back. Are you okay? Oh, the mirror. What? So we need the mirror for something. Oh, you are seeing yourself. Oh, I know he was kinda handsome. That's why all the ladies were after him in the first place. Even the demons. Ah, the needle is going out. And the needle is out. Now you remember? What? Dude, why do you keep getting kidnapped? Are you some kind of princess? Dude. And we got a fine gold thread also. Now we are at level bloodstained needle. Okay. Jade Moon Rabbit? What does that do? Oh, we got so many things. Slightly increases damage reduction. This effect is enhanced when equipped with Gold Sun Crow. I definitely know what that is. Huh. But we gotta find that thing. Is there something we are missing? Oh, this looks like a path we can go. No. I don't want to fight in this kind of situation ever again. Oh, that looks like a narrow path. Oh, we got a chest. Free loot. I mean, I deserve more loot. Because I had to fight 3 bosses. I mean, 3 stage bosses. Same but different. And we got the shrine. Craft armor. Non-pure broken mask. Okay. Non-pure armor. What do you do? Mud that stain upon detransforming and exiting spirit skills grants considerable damage reduction for a short duration. When stained with mud, increases might recovery rate. Dodges and perfect dodges also recover a small amount of additional might. Dude, how much do you think we'll fight in mud? They have all become Buddhas, so why have I alone have been made secret government? Oh, the big. So wait, even the fish dude who was with us in the journey to the west became Buddha? Okay, that explains his resentment. First we rest up, get our mana. Oh, I like our mana, but look at it. Just look at it, man. It sticks up like a sore bar. Or sore thumb. Okay, so is there anything else here to take? There's a lot of spider webs. Oh, that's you. I don't know why we'd need you. What? Huh. What is this place? Oh, this is water. Huh. Oh, there's going to be a lot more fight. Dude, at least I love this. This place is bright. Is that a face? Oh wait, is that monkey? Is the same monkey? So wait, there are this kind of quest everywhere? Sakanda of choice. Huh. Okay. Sakanda of choice. We got more Sakandas, right? I wonder what they do. We already did all of the long, unless there are more longs to deal with. Oh, somebody's shooting at us. Let us explore this place. This looks like a good place to have a lot of loot. And of course you are here. Dude, no matter how strong we get, they always take the same amount of damage. Unless we have to increase our damage. What do you think, guys? Should we invest on our attack? I'm pretty sure there was nothing here. Down here. I mean, rather than health, who is shooting at us? Oh, it's you. Lol. Oh, we are going to get to you.
Shadows gather.
I mean, we got so much mana, so why don't we use them? Okay, let's see where to go. I'm guessing up here, but let us see if there is anything else. Oh no, there is nothing else. So we can go up there and maybe there somewhere. I don't think we are meant to be here. I'll just leave it be. Also, I don't think devs wanted us to do jump and heavy smash to get up. That looks like a cheese. Whoosh!
Who goes there?
Dude, I hate you guys. I hate bugs. I know some people love bugs, but those are not me. Ah, of course you jumped, because you were hiding some treasure. It's a way to push us off the screen, so we don't come back and look into this place. But we are not everyone. Okay, we'll drink some potion, then we'll get you. I thought for a moment we'll get Jubaji's spirit. But I guess not. Oh, there's a scorpion dude. And of course there's you. Dude, I don't want to fight both of them at the same time. It sounds like a nightmare. And nightmare it will be. Just go away. Don't come here. Go away, dude. Yes, go away. Go away. You come here. Whoosh. He poison. Why? Oh, you took the heavy damage and you survived it? How did you do that? You're crazy, buddy. You're crazy, you're crazy. Now for the Scorpio dude. Sorry, my voice crackled. Oh, you're a spirit. What? How did I take so much damage? From the spirit? You can do so much damage? Why? Statue? Please, spirit, don't fall down. Don't fall down. Don't fall down. Stay. Oh, of course, you are here. Okay, we are back. And we got some spirits. Dragonfly. I guess that's the only long range attack we are going to get. Scorpion dude. Boing. Oh, oh, you love to do that, huh? Okay. He's a fun enemy. He's like so out of the way and so cool. And now you're dead. I mean, even his death animation is so cool. It feels like someone wants to pop up from this. Of course, it's you. Okay, I think we can jump down, but do we want to jump down? Oh no, wait, that was the thing. That was the guy thing. He was shooting us from top there, and we are here now. Huh. That's where we came from. Okay. Oh, that way looks like it goes way up. So I think we should go here. Oh, we still have enough mana to summon our children. And I think only our children. So no trying to... Okay, there is anything there? I don't think we can even go down there. So we'll just go up. Up is good. Dude, all these bug sounds are making my skin crawl. Don't fall down, don't fall down. Ah, we got a shrine. Okay, I think we can rest up now. Let's go. Oh, that looks like something else. What? Oh, Jubaji, it's Jubaji
Why
again.
dredge up the past? Aren't we here now? Don't you remember how I spared your life when he asked me to clean up the rest of your sisters?
I do remember. And more than that, I even remember how I survived on my sister's flesh after you left.
That's not all on
Cannibalism.
us. The culprit is that centipede. All would have
Centipede?
lived if he didn't weigh my master's
Oh,
flesh
somebody
over
talked
your
about that,
lives.
right?
Yes, he was blinded by greed. But he has repented and made his compensation.
Oh, that was the other centipede. I
even
remember.
offered
I
that
remember
thing
him
to
from
sustain my
Journey to the
life.
West.
Otherwise, I'd never live to see you today.
Dear, is that true? That thing is in your hands.
What thing?
Unbelievable. Even now, in your heart, the monkey
Wukong's?
still comes first.
Wukong's relic.
The monkey? Nah, for me, beauty always comes first.
Good. Carry on with these nice words. Once I'm satisfied, I might lift my finger and tell you where to find it.
You wicked hag!
What?
Can't you see your old face? Still obsessed with all this lovey-dovey crap at this age? Ridiculous!
I mean, you're also old. You just don't age. Because you got
day
heavenly
trapped
things,
in this
right?
hollow. I missed and dreamed, waiting for the day to eat you right after we mate. So I
Oh,
can
so
heal.
spider things.
Eat! Could have saved me from your stupid ceremony and vows! What
So
a
you're married now?
farce.
Do you
My
just spit on
appetite
his
is
face?
lost. Not just for you, but also for her.
For her? Oh?
Mother?
Wait, what?
Hideous! Hideous spider! Who fathered such a thing? Your fate today has nothing to do with me! I had my
Oh,
mercy
she looks like
misplaced,
him.
that's all! What took you so
So
long? I
she's-
almost died!
Go
Now go
his
kill this hag and
daughter?
get me down!
I guess so.
Monkeys, the
That must be it.
bane of my life. Why do you always have to ruin my plans? In what way am I any less than monkeys?
You have 8 legs. I mean, if I was
This
Benton, I would
monkey
say
that you
spider
love.
monkey.
I'll chop his heart, slice his liver, and make you eat them!
Oh, okay, there's a big spider. Oh, she's cool. But she's old. Stay there. Oh, she does different thing than the other spider. Oh, she hits us with her ass. That's in normal day I wouldn't say no to that, but okay. But you're much more crawly. Boing. Dude. Leave me alone. Oh, dude, you're trapped again. Let us heal a bit and then we'll do this, we'll do this. Dude, I'm just going to call my children's. Go, have him. Dude, what did you say? Bondage foot? Where's our monkeys? Wait, why are they there? Okay, now they're here. Boing. Oh, at least we get to see a lot of horror attacks. What? And now we are flashed? We are, by the way, totally out of mana. Oh, can you stop with the nets? Dude, why does everybody in this map wants us to be slow? Okay. Dude, we're just freaking slow. Dude, I hate this. And she really likes to go back, huh? I'm just going to hit her with this. Although we are out of potion. Hopefully there's no other fight after and no spider web. Ah, oh, damn it, we are trapped again. Dude, I hate this one. And he's such a big crawly. Leave me alone! Dude, I can't see shit. Oh, 1 HP clutch, 1 HP clutch. Man, she was strong. I mean, not strong, but annoying. Oh. Oh, he is so wiggly. I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all.
Go after her. She has the relic.
Okay.
I can take care of myself.
Yeah, disgusting fuck. Ah, god damn it, god damn it, god damn it, god damn it. Oh, we are 1 HP, dude. Leave me alone, you things. Oh, what is all this? Dude, why are we? Oh, cutscene. Ah, wait, is she helping us again? I think she is. Okay, the other spider is helping us. The black one. Oh, we are covered in that. Oh no, that's the green one. That's the one we fought. Okay, she helped us. What? Dude, but I'm still 1 HP. What am I going to do with that? Oh, there's a shrine. There's a shrine. There's a shrine. Dude, Spider's Temple of Yellow Flowers. Huh, everything is yellow here. The long was yellow, this was yellow. I thought... Oh yeah, we even fought a yellow boss, right? In chapter 2. Oh, we can craft a new weapon. What weapon? Oh, a weapon in this category. That is disgusting. We need gold tree core. Can we buy it from the shop? Gold tree core. No, we can't. We need to find it. At least we got some fine gold thread, so we can upgrade our armor once we go to the Inn Tiger. That is good. So now what should we do? Let's just go forward. Where? Okay, we are in a different map now. Dude, this map was crazy. There were so many layers in the same map. We were like stuck here for how much? 1 hour? Holy heck. That's the spider lady. Oh. So wait, is there anything else here? Let's just check it out, then we'll be back here. I mean, after beating a boss, always check the area. There might be something. And they rushed us out, so... If there's something here. I think we came out of here. Oh, we can go up here. Lol. Can we go up here? No. Okay, so Jubaji is gone again. And I don't think there's any other loot here. We can't go up here. Oh, that's... Wait, there's something there. Oh no, there's nothing. Okay, let us just travel back then. Not here. Here. So this place is cleared out. We ran through here. Okay, we can stay here. Let's go to the mountain trail. Okay, we are here. Oh, we are here. I don't guess we can jump. Okay. Dude, finally I get to see blood. I mean, I got to see sunlight in an open area. Oh wait, who are you? Oh, you... Who are you? What? You're fighting with a needle, buddy. Wait, you're dead? Huh. I guess that's a thing. I think we came from there. Let's just go. Oh, we can go here. There's some flowers. So with this, follow this wound. You're not that strong. Oh, there's a yellow guy. What? Haha, I know there would be something here. Dude, another thing with it, sunlight is we can't see the loot sparkling. So that's the problem. Dude, who are these masked guys? Like, who is that? Oh, you're going to do something crazy. But you couldn't. Who are you? Fly Whisk Taoist. Dude, that's a fat guy. But you are slim. Can we jump in the water right now? We can't. Can we go through here? No, we can't. Oh ho, there's a lot of things. Oh, he was hiding here. Oh, dude, wait, what? You're doing wind magic? Does that damage us? Or is it just for knockback? Oh, you guys look cool. Hey, who? What? Oh, wait, there's a snake guy. A lot of guys are coming behind me. Bye. Boing. Oh, it does damage us. What? I thought that was some normal wind. Oh wait, is that spider webs or some wind magic? Let's just open up the map and see. Oh, it looks normal enough. I saw we only get this. Oh, you were guarding this for no apparent reason. Guys, if you're enjoying this, make sure to like, share, comment to give us some tips or to have some tips. And if you're new, make sure to subscribe and turn on notification. We are live with Black Myth Wukong. And we are live with kicking some ass. Oh, that's a weird way of running. That's like old Chinese movie running. Boing. Of course you. I should have said my boing for him. Okay, that was good combo. What? It looks pretty straightforward. Wait, another tiger? No, that's... Wait, what is that? That's a... Dude, I'm so confused. That looks like a little tiger, leopard, snake? What? Just there's some weird shit going around here. Okay. Dude, what's with everyone having wind attack? See, why is their combo uninterrupted and our combo gets interrupted? Oh, don't! I should have drunk first. Wait, that path goes forward. Oh yeah. So we might need to take that loot. Also fight that tiger guy. Oh, he has some health. Dude, we need to take care of him first. Wait, you have... You have snake tongues. Oh, you are the most weirdest creature I've seen. Dude, you're the weirdest creature I have seen in the whole game. Ah, we got some mine cores. Mine cores are always useful. Okay, now we move. We keep moving. Okay, there's the trail we came from. Oh, you are some statue. And there's more of these guys. Oh, dude, stop with the air attacks. Oh, and you have a needle attack. Did you just try to throw me a tornado? Stop it. But how many tiger things are there? Boing. Oh, wait, somebody's back there. It's weirder. Who are you? Yee, you're a slug. Oh, you have a poison sword. Oh, both of them are boss level. What? First we'll get rid of you, then we'll see what we can do about... totally missed that. Because we forgot to lock the freak on. Boing. Oh, I didn't like the slug thing. Oh, there's a path forward. So first we'll take the chest. We are running out of mana, so better find a shrine. Also, the enemies are really strong. Some might even say too strong. Maybe we are getting closer to the boss. Tiger subduing thingy. Okay, got it. Let's go. It does look like we can drop down, but we don't want to. How can there be a mushroom on top of... Okay, I guess that can be. Haha, see him hiding?
Who goes there?
Oh wait, he just waits us to lock on? Boing. So that's the thing. Oh wait, we can't jump there. Also, we got a shrine. To stop it. Dude, what's up with your combo? Just die. Okay guys, let me get some tea. Okay guys, we are back with some tea, and what are we back with? We are back with Black Myth Wukong, sorry. And if you guys are still with us, make sure to like, share, comment to give us some tips or to have some tips, and if you're new, make sure to subscribe and turn on notification. Let's go guys. Okay. What the heck are we? If somebody's trying to talk with us or speak with us. Oh, that's the poison dude. Oh, we didn't rest in the shrine. So this is a waste. I don't want to fight him. I mean, after we rest, we have to fight him again. Or her. Whatever he is. Oh, it's really far away. What? Boing. Now who's laughing? I love our powers. Okay, what? Preemptive attack. Oh, there's a meditation spot. That's nice. Ah, inner peace with our tea. Wait guys, I'm updating the title. I just got a crazy idea. There we go. Okay, with that said, let us continue the adventure. Now that we found inner peace. Oh, there's like a lot of things. You're gone. Oh, two of you. Oh, Batak. Oh, there's a lot of them. Can we kill him? Oh, we can kill them. Oh, okay. There's the slug dudes, which I don't like. Ishi. They just throw themselves away. Hey, what? What? Did he just ghost his way there? Okay, we kinda survived. What? What is? Okay, this guy's mechanics are all over the places. That's one way to deal with it. Jojo didn't want to drink twice. But yeah, why not? I guess the drink does give us poison resistance, right? We attach that curio. There's two of them. I guess we can deal with them all together. Now what about you? There we go. Nothing else to take from here except the heads of these guys who are chilling. There's a snake dude there. What's up with all this abomination? Oh. Boy. Oh, you survived. Oh, why are we down here? Demelo. I can see shit. I saw shit. Wait, can we keep going? No, we can't. We can't. Huh. We are at a path. Oh, but that's the meditation spot. Oh, yeah. So we went down here. We kind of took a detour through there and got few loots. You do some damage, huh? What? He just headbutted us to oblivion. What? Remember to use cloud step. Poison. I don't think I was poisoned. I think she kind of went crazy with the headbutts. I guess more enemies for me to kill and more XP to get. Okay, let us go. So I think we'll ignore a few of them. Seriously? What are you trying to do? Chill out. Rematch. Bye. Hello guys, I'm back. Dude, sorry, there's so much interruption and the rain started again. Ah, god damn it. We can't go up there, can we?
Immortals die,
Huh.
rising low, spreading wings.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's 6 of them.
Perching
Do we have to deal with them?
tigers pounce.
Kind of waste of our skill, but okay.
You're after my life?
Dude, what are you doing? Oh, you take a lot of damage, what? I like my powers. Boing. Okay. I mean, he was a cool boss. Also, he took a lot of damage. Tablet of 3 Supremes. What? Tablet of 3 Supremes. Chance when health is low. I mean, sounds too specific for us. Oh wait, he gives a spirit? I didn't see that. Okay, let's see. Beetle Commander. I think he has a lot more HP. Not HP, but defense. There's someone hiding behind here. Can you see that? See? See that idiot? Boing. What when I killed your boyfriend? What was that? Seriously? So much for that. Oh wait, this is a different path than that. Oh. Oh, there's a chest here. Randomest place and a randomest chest. Gold or iron. Oh yeah, this is the same place, just a roundabout way to go about it. So I mean, we could have seen that. Dude, do you seriously want to fight with me? And what are you guys guiding? Who are you guys? Boing. Hmm. Okay. Oh, they're back with the snake dude as well. What is the dudes in the front is not here? Huh. Let's just go. No loot here. Nothing to look for here. Probably. Ah, of course, you're a slug. But there's a lot of slug. Oh, okay. You are poisony. Let us take this, and we'll take this. There we go. Easy peasy. Dude, my head is spinning. I think I streamed for a long time yesterday. And I can keep up right now. Maybe we'll call it a day early. Oh, there's kind of a roundabout way to go here, huh? No? Just me trying to break the game? Oh, doesn't this look like there should be something here? But I guess the game doesn't want to reward us. Oh, we can climb more than any other map before. I guess there isn't anything. Oh, it's like we can do a lot more thing in the case of exploration. Oh, this place really opens up. Wait. Dude, what? Where are we? Some sort of courtyard? Let's just go for the middle chest. A combo, a heavy attack. And we... Wait, what? Oh, when he dies, he gives poison? Huh. There's a spirit here. But it will take some time to explore. I'm feeling that this map is bigger in terms of exploration than the one in chapter 3, the icy one. Icy one was, I mean, it was big, but it was straightforward. This, there is so many interconnected ways. Somebody's trying to hit us. Oh wait, there's a whole tower or something? No, he was trying to throw air at us. Like that would have been helpful. Huh. Oh, she actually did something. Oh, if he wakes up, we are screwed. We'll just take the flower and run from the side. Oh, this is the snakes that just doing that sound. You thought you could surprise me, huh? Oh, there's a lot more where that came from. I'm pretty sure we didn't miss anything there. But these snake dudes have a lot of HP. And now you're gone. That looks like a way. So does this. Dude, I hate these slugs dudes. They're weird. Ooh, leave me alone. Oh, we got a box. So this place is from where exactly? Huh. Did we come round from somewhere or... oh no. I mean, we could have gone there. It's so interconnected, so interconnected. And there's more slugs. Why wouldn't there be? Boing. Dude, my head is paining a lot. I'm dying. IRL. Where the heck are we going? Holy, what? There's just another way to go down. And that definitely looks like a place where a boss fight will take place. Okay, so we might want to go back. Look into here. Then come back. Oh, that also looks like a place where a boss fight might take place. Makes sense, right? Oh. Oh. Oh? Oh wait, we were down there. Now we are up here. Oh, there's something glowy. Oh, it's another one of these dude. Oh wait, you're fungi woman? But you're a boss? Why are you a boss? Oh, you're spin boss. I'm not sure about you, but here you go. Have my children's. Time to bully them, my childs. Okay, she's a woman and I would have said something about not eating more than you can chew, but okay. Monkey head fungus seed. Huh. But at least we got this. What is that? Sunset of the Nine Skies. I guess that's a good thing we got. What is that, by the way? Drinks. It looks like a cat. Ah, it's a cat and its name is Sunset of the Nine Skies. So, a joke about cat having 9 lives. Each sip recovers 35% of maximum health, grants a considerable amount of ki. Considerable amount of ki. So key was which one? Sorry, guys. My brain is not braining today. Huh. Oh wait, she was a spirit as well. Huh. So we literally got two spirits here. Okay. You're not going to do pop up and be like Fungi Man or something? No? Okay. So there's one more spot there, right? This place? Because this definitely looks like there would be something here. There would be something strong here. Oh, it's that guy.
The sack for nothing but your sake. I'd appreciate a thank you. But
Oh
you
yeah,
gave
somebody told me that we should
torn
break his
arms.
arms.
Now, in compensation, I'll claim yours.
Are we ready? Ooh, what?
I had to put myself in there to figure out all the
Okay, we can break his arm.
many legs.
Oh, we are out of mana. Even after all that, we are out of mana.
My head thirsts for a spill.
Okay. We broke both of his arms.
Now, there's never ascension from those sacks. Worthless limbs be gone.
Wait, what? I mean, before he had
That
6
old
arms.
Taoist fooled me. My challenge was a delusion.
I'm a fool.
Forget it! Face me in a fair fight. You shall learn to best that corruption.
What corruption? By the way, who are you? You're so muscular. You're so. But he's at full health. Oh, and he's fast. But not strong. What? And now we blast. There you go. You should have some damage. We are doing this without skill, so might want to eat some of this, I mean, it's not that. Sorry. Oh, sheesh. At least we are fast. I mean, fast with the dodge. Back shots. Oi, what? How can you block me like that? Take that in the face. Also, he had a second face. That was good. No third face, by the way. So there's the guy we fought in
on purple
that place.
cloud mountain.
Find the needle on the purple. What? Ah. Okay, so we got a golden tricor. You're not going to give us any shrine, are you? No? By the way, who are you? I mean, you were a random spider. I don't think that was you. But the drawings are so good, we can literally print it out and hang it on our house. Huh. I don't think it was Beetle Commander. Was it characters? But Jubaji looks crazy. Ah, this is the guy, Venom Taoist. Schemes and plots, hard to outsmart, impulsive nature. Ah, okay. Taoist Master, how? Oh, we can expand. Master skill. What? I didn't know we can do so much. Look, but this does open up a path somewhere. Okay, nice. There was also the painting that we need to look after. By the way, we fought that boss without any skills. So we are skilled. Sorry guys. What the... Oh, there's a chest. Soul remigration pill? What are we getting? How are we getting so many things? That's a mythical item. Upon use, grants resurrection upon death before triggering life-saving strand for a long duration. So wait, this is a revive pill? Like, if we die, we can get revived? Upon use, considerably increases damage reduction for a long duration. Upon use, grants resurrection upon death before triggering life-saving strand for long duration. So wait, if we drink this, I mean, after we die, we drink this, or like we drink this and within a time limit, if we die, we get resurrected. That's quite the treasure. I mean, I would have liked to have the recipe. Okay. I'm hoping that if we go inside the painting, there would be a shrine, right? And what's with this all just going inside a painting always? Okay, we'll just collect the shrine from here and go back to the main place. Can we just exit from here? Oh. It's like spring season here. Guys, if you're enjoying the adventure and stream, make sure to drink plenty of water and like the stream. We can't go back now, can we? Oh, look at this. Look at the petals. This is so beautiful. Purple Cloud Mountain. I don't see any purple cloud.
Husband. Oh dear, husband.
Who the heck is crying now?
Grieves me so. All I can do is weep here, hoping that a kind passerby might find your remains.
Who? Wait, that's a snake. Jormungandr? You get the chest first. The snake has a voice. I mean, woman's voice. Oh, and it gave us poison?
Young master, please forgive my impropriety.
You are a cool snake.
I am but a widow. Here
You
to
are a
mourn my
widow?
late husband. Show some kindness and excuse my manners. We lived in peace in our mountaintop home,
Okay.
but out of nowhere, wicked insects swarmed the place. They occupied our village.
Spiders?
I was the lone survivor.
Holy, what?
I intended to retrieve my late husband's keepsakes.
So your husband was a
wise
snake?
leader, the Scorpion Lord, has discouraged all my attempts with his death sting.
Scorpion Lord. So there was a Scorpion Prince, now there's a Scorpion Lord.
Young master, are you heading up the mountain?
I think
Venomous
so.
Yaoguais have infested the forest ahead. Take caution, or you may never make it back alive.
Oh, look at her mouth. It's...
Remember to carry
Quivering.
enough herbs with you, in case you find yourself poisoned.
I think because she's crying. Is that it?
Young master, are you heading up the mountain? Venomous Yaoguais. Remember to carry enough herbs with you, in case you find yourself. Young master,
Okay, I guess that's
Venomous
it.
Yaoguais have infested.
Dude, can we get a shrine already? I'm getting stressed. Okay, I mean, this place is really beautiful, man. Gentian. I'm guessing all of these plants are to craft a potion, poison resistance potion. Ah, we got it. Oh wait, there's a spirit there. I love this place. So this is the secret area of this map, huh? I'm guessing it is. The web bridge. No? Huh. Oh, secret, see? Secret purple cloud mountain. Wait, there's a snake. This snake is not that big. But... Alright, so we'll head back here-ish. Because we need to clear out this place. I don't want to miss anything. Okay, so we are here. Now we are going up there. Dude, even after increasing so much mana, we are really getting out of it, huh? We're really in need of it? Oh, there's a lot of sleeping dudes. Oh, it's a meditation spot. Oh wait, there's a spirit there. Oh, that's the snake tiger thingy dude. Wait, what? Oh, there's so many. Let's beat every single one of them together. Oh, leave me alone. Oh wait, you survived? Oh, two of you survived. This whole place is about poison, huh? I guess spiders are also known for poison, kinda. Boing. He even throws poison when he dies. So, do you think we can clear out the secret area today? Before we die in IRL? Because my head is really paining. And knowing the secret area, the boss is going to be tricky. Guys, inner peace. If you want inner peace, make sure to subscribe and turn on notification. Also comment to give us some tips or to have some tips. We are live with Black Myth Wukong. Oh, we have 4 spark. Where do we spend it on? Okay, I can spend it on either this or this. Or foundation. Each talent level considerably increases stamina recovery rate when health is above half. Massively reduces the cost of jumping. Huh. I think we'll just go for the attack. Let's make the attack bar full. But how many sparks do we need to make it full? Let's check. Also, I think we should visit in Tiger. I think we can upgrade our armor. I don't think this was the one. This 4. So we need about 8 spark. So 8 more levels. Come on. Oh, there's system 5 of them. Chill out. Oh, look at them. Look at them. Come. Oh, look at these creepy crawlies. Virtue Bamboo in Grove. Whatever that is. But what is that? That's not it. Slightly increases will gained from defeating enemies. I always get so happy. Slightly increases might recovery rate. Huh. Oh, one of them was left alive. Okay, now we take care of the tiger spirit dude. Hey, you're strong. I'm so proud. I love tigers. IRL. Can you lunge at us? Oh, you tried. Oh, you're really trying. Point. Ooh, the snake bite from back. Oh, look at him. He's so messed up. Sorry. I usually don't take pleasure in killing tigers, but I've already killed a lot of tigers. And we did all that without taking... Oh, why is there so many of you? I think I killed 10 to 11. 6 here, 4 there. Yeah, 11. I killed 11 of them. Oh, it's him. He's the long dude. Yo.
Knowing the joy within the play, why chase the notes astray? Love
Dude,
and passion
you
are
were
as fleeting as the clouds.
what is
In
it
the
called?
end,
Possessed.
nothing but
Possessed by the long.
cobwebs and dust.
And now you're going to give me some
A broken
knowledge?
mirror cannot be made whole again, my friend. Tell Master Pig, if you will, that attachments are not to be
By the way,
dwelt.
who are you?
Immortal ones from above.
From above, for love.
For love.
He strayed.
She strayed. In
Oh,
immortal
it's-
ones in her webbed prison. Immortal in her web.
Sure, he's shifting himself. Awakening worm. So that's it. You're done. Let's give us something. Nothing. Screw you. Okay, now let's see. We should head to upgrade our armor. Okay, do you have something for us? Doggy, 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 doggy.
Mine eyes doth see the dell from the confines of my abode. My
Oh yeah,
pills
we
are
also have mind
reliable.
course, right? So we can
But
upgrade
be
something.
wiser than
What do you think,
rely.
guys? What should we upgrade? Oh, it's giving us something good. Septenary, hot fire, whatever. Long aura amplification pellets. Huh. So should we go with health or should we go with stamina? I mean, we pretty much maxed out everything else. How much stamina can we do? 9. I think with health, let's go 1 health, 1 stamina, okay?
From yin and yang, 5 elements that proceed from without to craft will.
There we go. Wow, such an increase. And we'll do 1 stamina.
Uncover the secrets of sky and earth. Nature inherits its unique creation.
I think we should have just invested everything on this one. Wait, let me show you. On this, the Banes. I think that would have given us... Wait, we can invest 36? That's crazy.
Each pill is a means to an end.
Yo, monkey, you have something for us?
Cheers! Cheers!
Upgrade crouch. Dude, I think we can upgrade this one to the max, but I seriously like this one because it heals our duplicates. This would have come in handy. Do you have something on your shop that we can buy? Only this. Oh wait, we can buy this because we got both of their hand. Well, let's buy this.
Think of it as me earning a drink or two.
Hello, I got something for you. You know what? Seeds.
I've spent my... As they say, fine soil
His
yields
voice is
fine
so funny.
sprouts, and fine sprouts bear fine fruits. Ah,
Oh, we got a lot
no,
of them.
leaving so soon. Do visit.
Yeah, you are a weirdo. I mean, your voice really sounds weird. Yo, Ian buddy, old friend, old buddy, what's up?
What rags and tatters? No wonder.
I want to upgrade my armor. This wasn't it. This was it? Maybe. Let's go. Legendary tier. The next upgrade will be when we get Celestial Ribbon, which I'm not sure when we'll get. Let's go. Gale Braces. Oh, just look at this. our defense is going crazy. And last but not least, our boots. Oh, we upgraded our boots. When? Huh. So maybe we had one and we used it. Okay, this is also maxed out. Our armor are practically good. Massively reduces the stamina cost of jumping. Lord.
Now
Because jumping line. And now our defense is maxed out. I mean, we haven't upgraded this armor since chapter 2. Do you understand? We completed chapter 3 with this. Simply this. Okay, so now we'll go back to here and go straight up here now that this area is complete. Okay, let's see. Or should we just go to the other place? Or maybe we'll stay here. Oh, the snakes knows something up. Oh, I hear someone else walking to us. Oh, it's him. Just die. Oh, there's a shrine there. I can see that. Oh, this tired dude is just watching and chilling. Okay, he's not here. Dude, what's wrong with our dodging? Oh, we are another level up. And we are really leveling up, huh? The XPs go mad, crazy. We visited that place and that took us inside the painting. Now we'll stay here. Ah, the shrine. Time to rest up. Okay, so what shrine is this? This is God of Illuminati? That looks like a boss. So we'll head here. What? What do you mean run? What do you mean run? What do you mean run? What? Hello? Somebody was definitely talking, of course. Oh, what, you're a fungi woman or something? How are you so strong? Oh, by the way, this is one of those talisman. Ah, yeah. I remember this one. So the last talisman was all the way here. I thought we need to find that inside that cave. I was roaming around sorry guys. I was roaming all around the places just to find that. And it was just lying here. Screw you. Okay, let's see. There might be something else here to get. No. I'm guessing we have to face the spider lady. Oh wait, that path goes somewhere else. That path goes somewhere totally different. Huh. Alright, then let us just pull this up and go out there. Maybe the spider lady would be there. Oh, wait, that's new. Hello? Huh? Dude, I was not trying to trigger a boss fight. Huh? Hey, you have a hand for a face. Eh? Okay, see, now that's an Elden Ring boss. Oh, you don't take much damage, do you? Where's our monkey? Oh, where's our monkey? What? But what? Oh, silly fuck. Did he just freeze our monkey? But he's not letting us transform. Wait, what? Huh?
Spare his life.
Dude, he's not strong. I would have killed him.
Foul monkey. No matter how many times you reincarnate, you're still blind to the ways of this world.
And now there's another bird.
Now, in your folly, you've hindered the dealings of the court. But above that, you've given a girl who knows no limits of false hope.
Wait, what?
I shall transform her into a mighty golden pill and keep it safe for you. Think about her, won't you? Should you feel like stirring trouble in your next life?
Huh? He just went to the heavens. What the heck? That whatever supreme shit. He didn't let us transform. He didn't let us call our monkeys. And now the other one is going to turn the spider lady into a golden pill. Like what? Like Naja? Huh. Did we do something wrong by trying to transform? Huh.
Die!
I mean, we could have taken him down. He wasn't that tough. Oh, this path leads to somewhere. Where does that lead to? Oh, it just leads to here. Oh, it's just a chest behind a waterfall. Sanctuary Heartfire. Dude, what are these, by the way? Heartfire pill. It's here or it's in the medicine? I'm guessing it's in the medicine. No? Here? No? Sorry, yes. Septenary Heartfire pill. Why do I have stored 2? Number held 1. Upon use, instantly resets cooldown for all. Oh, we want that. Do we have that? Shock calling 1. I mean, there haven't been any enemy who can shock us for a while. So we'll keep this one. Oh, we got a Knot of Voidness, so we can upgrade our spirits as well. That's good. There's nothing else. Dude, that chicken dude was cool. He just went straight to the heavens. Okay, so that other place is definitely the spider lady we fought with. So we better do the secret thing. Somewhere here. Okay, so we are back here. There was some sort of spirit here, right? Let's just go the normal way first, then we'll go the inconvenient way. You are a tree. And we are inside of water. Okay, I don't need this healing right now, so... Okay. You remind me something out of Witcher. Oh, what? Huh. What was you? What was it? That's a yokai. Lush leaf. Oh, there's a female. I'm the lush leaf embraces her free from the dust of life's race. Once a wealthy Sion, seeking the path of the immortals, abandoned his family for Yes? The immortals in mountains where he struggled alone, often flattered in basic chores. One day washing clothes, suddenly killed down. She landed before... Ah, the tree is something else. Got it. The tree is something else. And they just told stories about the yogais. Dude, I am going to read every single one of this once this game is over. I didn't even need to use my healing. This chapter 4 has been surprisingly easy. I guess our level up really helped. All hell grinding. Oh, there's a shrine here. What? Oh, you are the poison dude. Stop it. See? For that, I'm going to kill you 3,000 times. Idiot. Oh, we got shrine. Rest up. Oh, this looks like in today's wine I what? Oh, you're up there. What are you? Oh wait, you're the scorpion the snake lady was talking about. I mean, I think she's a lady. Guys, if you're enjoying this adventure, make sure to drink plenty of water and like the stream.
Death with my stinger, you torch-faced monkey.
What?
Now leave,
while you can.
Hello?
Quit your dawdling, will you? One scratch on my jaws, just one, and you'll be a dead
One scratch, huh? So you just told me what to do. How about we just do this? What are you? Okay. Oh, he has a face. He has a dangerous face.
You fur face. I meant to let you pass, but you chose to
the Scorpion Lord.
my day.
Oh, he's big. He's bigger than the Scorpion Prince. What about I just let my children out? Hopefully he doesn't have a second face. Oh, holy fuck. Oh, she really doesn't. What? Oh, he's fast. Bully him, my children, bully him. Oh, wrong thing. Oh, they're gone. My children are gone. Holy fuck. Oh. The moveset are practically the same, but he's stronger. What? Holy. Guys, I think I need to focus a bit. He can move a lot. Whoa, what are you trying to do to me? Just stay there. Maybe I eat this. Maybe I eat this. I mean, I am dodging you, buddy. Oh, don't. Oh, got me in the last one. What? Oh. What? What? Oh, he's... I mean, he's easy. Ah! Damn it! Missed the last one. To stop it. If I know Pokemon, bug types are weak against fire. Dude, what? I don't have healing. Oh, damn it. Dude, he didn't let me explode. I think I should change the explosion button to my mouse button. He's trying to hit 4 is kinda weird in any game. Okay, he's fast. He's definitely fast. But I don't think he's hard. We can get him. Also, maybe save the babies for last.
I shall not leave until my blood debt is paid.
Okay, we can deal with that. Boing. Statue for a while. Did we miss that? I'm really ruthless. We didn't get hit one time. Mind the stamina, mind the stamina, mind the stamina. Oh, got us. Oh, I don't like that attack. Says you don't like that attack. What is that? Oh, that's the thing other Scorpion Lord does. Boing! Oh, wait, you can do that as well. What? What? Wait, what? I was healing. Ah. Okay. So, be ready for the giant attack? I think I could have used my cold step. By the way, what's in my this mouse button? Controls, customize, staff spin. Staff spin is good, but I don't think I have ever used this part of my button. Oh yeah, see, it's not set for anything. I didn't see anything useful. Okay, let's go, buddy. Let's see what you got.
Grudge against me. Why bother returning?
Okay, got us for the first time. Oh, roly poly. Okay. Really didn't dodge that, any of that. Okay, I love this boss. I love this boss. He's cool. And I think after YOLO Long, right? YOLO Long and the spider, yeah, the violet spider. She was fast. And what's up with this map and everybody being so fast? From chapter 3, everyone was so slow.
I shall not leave until my blood gets its pain.
Oh, I dodged that, you idiot. Stay there. Oh, we are out of potions. How are we out of potions? Boy, have some chillins. Oh, he did have some chillins. Oh, that was a two-face attack? Since when? Freeze them, children, freeze them. Freeze them and... What? Okay, now you're doing something. I think we should transform. Dude, some of this boss just goes crazy when we transform, huh? Oh, I was pressing the wrong button. Oh. Boing. Oh, what?
Just for this.
What? Just lock onto him. We'll eat this one. What? What? Dude, he's not letting me. What? So you want me to go 100%, huh? Okay, we'll go 100%. This boss is trying to go easy on them and they think they're boss. Alright guys, let's go. Which one did we use? Sentinel successful. This. Oh, no. We already have that one. Might recovery mana, maximum mana. Mana would also be nice. But I think it was the defense thing. Yeah. More defense. Let's see. If defense doesn't work, we'll go with mana. Oh, yeah. The potion. We wasted our potion. Otherwise, this fight would have been over. Because we didn't have medicine. Where's the poison medicine? This one? Let's go. We now have a lot of potion.
I shall not leave until my blood gets its paid.
I dodged that, but okay. Boing! Hey, what? What? I dodged that and still? The poison explosion? Huh. Some random ass move from his bound of deities abode.
Grudge against me. Why bother returning?
Oh. What? Boing. Okay, it's going to explode. Oh, I don't like this move. It's a bullshit move. And now you're tired. What? Dude, he just spammed two different set of moves. The first one was he moves vertical. Now who the heck is here? Let me open the gate, guys. Oh guys, we are back. I had to get some snackies. Okay, let's do this.
Grudge against me. Why bother returning?
See, that move, I remember what. Hey, what? I dodged that. Stay there. Don't pull bullshit move out of your ass. But now he's going underground so soon. Okay. What is wrong with this one? But what? I tried to explode, but it didn't explode. Oh, he commanded on our dodging. That's a praise. There you go. Have some chillings. Wait, what? Hey, what? Oh, didn't need to use the last healing we had. Boing. I hate this move. Out of every move, I hate this one. Because I can barely do anything about it. Boing. See, that I can dodge. That's bad, that's bad, that is bad one. Oh, we can transform. There we go. That was a clutch. Just die, you little freak. You know what? Just take this and die. Idiot. Made us go 100%. No one in this game makes us go 100%. And now we should change it back to this. So the snake lady should be happy now? Maybe? Oh, spirit jade card. We got something. Oh, what's this about long things? Massively increases drinking speed. Huh. And this can be upgraded, hopefully? No? Okay, so how many try was that? 4 try? Yo, hi. Oh, you were a king. Huh. I guess then you were cool. You weren't some random ass shit. By the way, where are we right now? Oh, we are really at this part of the map. I think we should go to the shrine and rest up. Okay, if we had the last healing, it wouldn't be that hard. But we got our spirit up. That's good as well. Oh, we got an armor? Oh, ho, ho, what are you? Poison resistance. Considerably increases damage dealt by all poison inflicted attack. I think this would be good in chapter 4. I mean this chapter only, right? Because all the theme is about poisoning. Oh, we got tail, scorpion tail. Oh, that is cool. What about the mask? Do we get the mask? Golden Mask of Fury? Wait, what? Sting insect armor. Non-graves, non-pure graves. Huh. Not sure. Wait, we only got the armor. Nothing else. But this does say Fuban strength. Fuban strength? Where did Fuban come here from? Fuban is the giant beetle that we fought. Maybe? Okay, it's kinda confusing. So yeah, we can craft the staff now. It will take 30,000 and we got all the golden tree core. So do we want to do we want to craft that or do we want to craft something else? Sea supporting tendon, mountain shaking claw, thundertail and thunderbone. Oh, so two of them takes to build this and two of them takes to build this. Coon steel. But I don't know where we'll get coon steel from. And this is still unlocked. I mean locked. Okay, I think we'll go for this spider leg. And finally an upgrade to our staff. Let's rest up. Okay. Do we need to make medicine? No, no, no. We are good. Evil repelling medicine might be nice. There isn't something here, is there? There's always something in these places. But not in this case. This case it's totally barren. Of course it is. Because this game doesn't like to reward our exploration. It rewards us with flower. What are we? Oh, this stuff is creepy. Yeah, I don't like it. Oh yes, my head was really paining and now it's multiplied by 100. Thanks to that scorpion dude. Screw that. Wait, there's some place to go. Oh, the damage increased, so that's good. Okay, there's a lot of path to go. There's a bridge to cross. But should we go to Tupu? Somebody tried to throw something at us. Oh wait, the bug dudes are here as well? I mean, the Scorpion Lord was here leading an army. So I guess that makes sense. Tutti, sure you want to do that? Idiot. Ah, there's something there. Let us first see what's here. A meditation spot. That's good. Ah, inner peace, guys. I found inner peace, and if you guys also want to find inner peace, make sure to like the stream. And comment to give us some tips or to have some tips. And if you're new, make sure to subscribe and turn on notification. We are live with Black Myth Wukong. So peaceful. Also remember to drink plenty of water. And now we got 2 spark, which will go into our attack. I'm lost of place. There's so many things to do. Okay, investing on attack is so not worth it. This looks like a out of the way path. Are we supposed to go here? I mean, look, it's so hidden. Kinda. Okay, this is a whole jungle, huh? The snake lady told us to kill the Scorpion Lord, right? So that's it? Oh, there's a whole path here. I don't think we can go in that water. But let us just clear the top area, then we'll explore the bottom one. Because that's how exploration goes, always. If you say otherwise, you're wrong. Okay, let's see. Oh no, this just takes us down there. So what was the point of coming here? I mean, crossing the bridge just to kill one insect? Oh, and there's some whale. I guess whale helps. And these are so hard to see. Oh, no, we came from here. Now we go down there. Or we go down here. Rish. I don't think we can go up there. Okay. Oh, there's a shrine. I think, oh, we roamed around and came here. Like, we better check out that place as well, and also this shrine. Hello. Oh, forgot to log in. But this place is also really spider webby, huh? Do we need to rest? I don't think we used up anything. Oh, this place looks like there would be a fight. But it's also completely barren. Because why give us something good? Let's go, let's go, let's go. Screw you, snake. Oh, that's the tree roots. That is the tree root, right? Ah, yeah. What? I forget to lock on. Boom. You are also here. Of course you are. Can both of you come in the same place so I can do this? We get rid of the poison ready first. Hey, wait, where's our health? What? I got a mine core. Where? Oh, that was spirit. Oh, I was going easy on her. Not getting my ass whooped by plant. We are human, we fuck up plant. I mean, I'm a monkey. But same thing. Also, we got the serpent thingy. Spirit. Snake herbal. Okay.
A monk? Huh. Why not embrace our party now?
Oh, there's the plant root again. How many of them are there? And he just tossed his babies at us. Do we toss our baby at him? Boom. But is he dead or is it? Bye. And now we take the chest. Celestial Registry Tablet. Huh. Slightly increases experience gained from defeating enemy. Oh, that was the thing Shahid Bhai was talking about, right? That increases our XP gain. I think it would have been nice when I was trying to farm for XP to get to level 100. But it's way down the line, so I guess it's okay. By the way, what's the maximum level? I thought the maximum level was 100. Then I reached 101. Oh, that was a scorpion dude. I think we cleared out everything as much as we can. Still might need to check out this path, right? So I think just teleport here and clear this on our way. This place is completely cleared. Also check out the river. Yeah. Maybe there's another frog hiding. There's always a frog hiding. Oh, the loading screens. Okay, I think we'll just clear out this secret map and then call it a day. Okay, now where the heck are we? Wait, there was another spirit. What? Also remember to tell us that the button to transformation is our mouse button. Okay, I think that's the other way. Wait, did we jump off from the bridge? Okay, yeah. Let's go this way this time. Oh yeah, see? We missed something. And there's the tree. He doesn't like to get stunned, huh? I dodged that, but okay if you say so. And somebody's trying to shoot us. There we go. Dude, seriously? Get a job. And this is not your job. Okay. Wait. Is this the same way? I don't think so. Yeah, this is a different way. Oh no, wait. This is the same-ish way-ish. Is there a... Somebody else was trying to shoot me. I saw that. Where is he? What the heck? Sniping us from... And is he shooting his piece at us? Oh, he's going to get some. Okay, I don't think we have been here. Yeah, definitely not. So what was the point of coming up here? There's something. Nothing. No rewards. Okay. Some people really like to poke other people having fun. Dude, just come in an angle so I can do this. They're not going to pop up. Okay, good. Ah, this is the gate. Should have drunk. Oh, I already drank. Good. Wait. This is a special place? There's something. Ah, there's a chest. Also, there's a tree that we can cross. Oh, we could have gone up here from here. Huh. It's so weird that we don't know what we can do or what we can't do. Because usually we can't do that. But now we can. Golden Sun. Oh, wait. Golden Sun Crow. I think I got a cure that goes well with this. Slightly increases damage bonus. Just this effect is enhanced when equipped with Jade Moon Rabbit. Jade Moon Rabbit. This one. Slightly increases damage reduction. This effect is enhanced with when equipped with Gold Sun Crow. So should we try to equip both of them? Let's try. Let's see how much our damage is. Also, how much less damage we take. Cool. I love this. Okay, so that was worth it coming here. Now we cross this gate. Now I think I cleared out this area also. There's nothing there. Oh yeah, we could have just practically turned around and see it. Okay, I like to rest up. Okay, now we go forward to a different area. You can jump there. Huh? I like how they run. It's so Chinese movie. We fruit of Tao. Huh? Oh, you are the master dude. Oh wait, this is a cutscene. I like the tune.
It's been long since any soul has trodden these hidden bounds.
Hello.
Hey,
Oh, you are creepy.
young master. Your face is gaunt, complexion sallow. Both remind me of the venom's touch.
What?
The worm also besets you.
What worm?
An oddity thrives here.
His ears are kind of blackish.
Consuming its eggs grants great power. Yet once the larvae hatch, they devour your insides, leaving an undying husk.
Oh, so that's what the slug
My fellow
was.
disciples, hungry for power, consumed those eggs. And now, most are beyond remedy. Young master, if you will, end their suffering in my stead. They were my fellows. I can't.
What? So we killed all of them? Oh yeah, them. But dude, you are the weird
Their
looking one.
lifeless bodies might still bear eggs unhatched. Bring those eggs to me, and perhaps I can find a cure. Young master, have you found my fellows?
No, but I
Just
want
a
all the
reminder,
info.
They oft wander amidst the village. May you
Oh.
find.
Wait, how did we lose our HP again? I thought I rested in the shrine. Huh. First we'll look into them.
Buddhists are unwelcome in the land.
We got a chest. Oh, there's so many parts to what? Can we drop down? We can't. Usually if there's a wooden slab like this, we can jump down. Okay, we can't even go there. Oh, but we can go through here. Huh. I should have drink. Damn it. Violet Hail. Key item. Is this the thing you wanted? I mean, it's a key item. But we didn't finish exploring it. Oh, that's a whole place. Okay, we might go back and clear out that area first. It didn't ask for a specified number, right? Ah, more blood of the Iron Bull. Okay, we can't go there. Let's see. Oh, there's so many chests here. You spider! Now, of course, he would poison us because you are a retard freak. Hey, where did our bongo cats thingy went? What? Hello? Oh, I think because it's afternoon, right? Smoking time is for only night.
Curses!
Ooh. And I sense your pokey stick. Dude, I want to use that. I want to use that. I want to use that. I want to use that on you. I guess that was strongish. Boing. Okay, so this area doesn't have anything. I mean, we just got a chest. Can't be too ungrateful. Oh, there's a shrine. Huh. Didn't we just find a shrine? I guess there's more to find. Make medicine. What can we make? Upon use, instantly recovers full health and removes all 4. Isn't this too good? What? Instantly recovers full health and removes all 4 bane. Oh, but we can hold only one of them. But this is good. This is too good. Oh, we are going to craft 10 of you. Oh yeah, we also got a brew, huh? Using guard mortality extends the duration of invincibility upon executing a dodge for a short duration. Don't know. Do we need to rest? I mean, we can rest up a bit, but they'll begin to spawn again, which we don't want. Okay, let us explore this area because that looks like a different place. Not connected to it. It is connected to this one. Maybe? Maybe or maybe not. Sherry, welcome to the stream. Thank you for the tips. You are most welcome. You know, if you add description and add the name of the game, it's easier to be recommended. I mean, you can just upload, because even YouTube won't know who to show this game to, or people can't find them. It will just act as another video. Can you guys chill out? You are throwing sand at us. So, how have you been? Oh, we got so many loots. Yes, sir. So, are you doing good? Enjoying all the games? It kind of looks like we can jump here, but maybe we shouldn't. Dude, there's so many paths, so many chests, so many things. Okay, this dude. And you are doing what exactly? Oh, now you have poisoned us. I hate that attack. Oh, we ate the wrong pill. Hey, why is that? Why didn't our HP recover? It should have been so much more. And shouldn't there be something else here? What? Let me just jump down. Dude, but there definitely should be something. Oh, I don't want to waste my heavy attack. Oh wait, there's another path. Oh, there isn't? Huh. There's some ominous sound coming out from there, which we'll try to ignore. Okay, now where do we go? We can't go there. Ah, mushroom. Snakehead mushroom. More mushroom. I mean, flower. Same but different. My Zelda Ocarina shot got 1,100 1,000 views. That's good, that's so good. See? Keep uploading like that and remember the pattern. Like, what did you do good in that video? Or what did the people enjoy? Check out the comments. And then keep working on that. So why did we come all the way here? I think we are seriously missing something. Oh no, it's just a path here. Oh, you're just here. How many did you need? Oh, you only needed one. Dude, we already got that so long ago.
This is it.
Ah, you are acting crazy now?
Evil it is. Hence, I must bring it back for thorough study.
I don't like the sound of that. I didn't like this
Young master,
sound you made.
In our brief acquaintance, you were kind enough to do me a favor. Why not extend?
His eyes are, ears are black. What?
That would please my master greatly.
I know you were evil because we already killed few of you. But you are actually boss. Oh, ooh, you're cool. You're cooler than the rest of them. Also, you don't take stun damage? You literally don't take stun damage, huh? Statue. And going for a big boing. Boink. Oh, even that didn't deal so much damage. What?
Missed.
He's strong. Boing. Take that. Now you're going to ask for forgiveness?
Just what I need.
How strong? Wait. Fist.
You shall be
Oh.
my initial feast to power my metamorphosis ascension.
What? He ate the blood cell thingy? Oh, he's becoming the slug. Yeah, disgusting, Frank, you little idiot. Why would you do that in front of me? There's a big tree there. Couldn't you use the big tree to hide? Taoist me. Me? You? Who are you? Oh, we got an awakening worm? What? I hate these creatures. I hate these creatures. Time for a big bomb. But this one is much more easy than the other one. Can we just call our children? Children's, go kick his ass. And And there goes our frame rate as well.